Hi, we're going to talk about simplifying algebraic expressions where exponents are involved. Remember when you work with those that like terms will be same variable and same exponent or same combination of variables with the same exponents. So let's take a look. We have this expression 7x squared minus 5x minus 7x plus x squared. Just because they all contain x does not mean they are all like terms. These two are going to be like terms, and these two are going to be like terms. So we are only going to be combining those. I want to remind you that means you have 1x squared. We're trying to do 2x squared plus 1x squared. That's going to be 3x squared. Negative 5x minus 7x will give you negative 12x. Do not attempt to combine it anymore because you cannot. You have the same variable, but the exponent is different. This is exponent 2, this is exponent 1. This is the answer. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next problem. So we have 2z minus 5z squared minus z minus 6. We always want to remember this is 1. Okay, so we have 2z minus 1z. These are your only like terms in this problem. 2z minus 1z is going to give you 1z or simply z minus 5z squared minus 6. This is actually acceptable, but usually the standard form of a polynomial, because that's what it is going to start with the highest degree and go down. So minus 5z squared plus z minus 6. Next problem, negative m squared and negative 5m squared are going to be our like terms. 3 and 3m are not. They're going to be separate. So negative 1m squared minus 5m squared will give us negative 6m squared. Then the next term that we should have is m, so plus 3m, if we want to put it in standard form, and then plus 3. And we're done here. I'll have parentheses involved. So with parentheses you have to multiply. So we're distributing. Take this whole thing here and we're going to distribute it like this. Only over what's in parentheses. That means we multiply 2q by q plus 2q times 3 and then minus 5q. Q times q is q squared. That gives us 2q squared. This is going to be plus 6q minus 5q. All 6q and 5q are like terms. 6q minus 5q is q. We have 2q squared minus q. Now we're starting to see some combinations of variables. Like in this case we have negative 5xy and plus 7xy. So these are actually like terms and you can combine them. These two have different variables, so we can't do anything there. But we can combine these two just because the variables and the exponents are the same. It's going to give us 2x squared, this one stays, negative 5xy plus 7xy, negative 5 plus 7 will give us 2, so 2xy minus y squared. Now we're getting all kinds of things here. So we have, let's quickly take a look. Our highest exponent here is squared, and we have two terms. We got 5t squared minus 7t squared. That is going to give us 5 minus 7 is negative 2t squared. 2t minus t will give us 1t, or simply t, so plus t. And then we have this lonely q. I'm just going to write it down because we have nothing to combine it with. Moving on here, now we have parentheses, so distributive property again. That's positive 3. Now let's be careful here. We got 7m plus 3n squared minus 5mn plus 3 times m, so plus 3m, 3 times negative n squared, so minus 3n squared. Alright, look at this. We have plus 3n squared and minus 3n squared. These two are going to cancel. Do we have any like terms? Yes, we got 7m and 3m. So that's going to give us 10m minus 5m, and we can leave it like that. That's perfectly fine. Now we have more parentheses here. So we got 3q here that we need to distribute. And we also have negative q, which means negative 1q, which we need to distribute. That's our first step always in problems like this. So what are we going to get? So we got 3q times q. I think we should know that is going to be 3q squared. 3q times negative 2 is going to be minus 6q. Second set of parentheses, negative q times 5 is negative 5q. Negative q times negative q is positive q squared minus 2r. Let's start with the q squared. So 3q squared plus 1q squared, that's 4q squared. Have negative 6q minus 5q. Negative 6 minus 5 is negative 11q. And 2 minus 2r that we already had there. Okay. Alright, now we're getting brackets too. So with problems like this, I think you should know by now that you start working your way inside out. So you're going to start with the inside of everything, like distribute, take these 2x and distribute here. And also we're going to take this 4x and distribute that. We do not touch the brackets in this problem at all until we're done with everything else. So let's see, we got the bracket. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 1 is minus 2x. This takes, oh no, I'm sorry, plus 5. My apologies. Okay. See if I can fix this really quick. Plus 5. Now we can close that. Minus, second set of parentheses, 4x times 2 is 8x. 4x times negative x is negative 4x squared. Minus 7x, and then we close that. Okay, can we combine anything inside the brackets? We can't do anything here. These are all unlike terms. But here we have this term and this term that can be combined. Here we can open that because there is 1 in front of that, positive. So here we have 2x squared minus 2x plus 5. Minus, we combine them, 8 minus 7 is 1. So we're going to have negative 4x squared, and then 8x minus 7x is minus 1x, so simply minus x. I want to point out to you that here we have negative, common mistake, don't make that, it means negative 1, and when we distribute, we got to distribute the whole thing. Negative 1 with the sign. That means we're going to get 2x squared minus 2x plus 5. This is the same. Negative x times negative 4x squared is positive 4x squared. Negative x times negative 1 times negative x is plus x. And now we should be able to combine our terms. So we got 2x squared plus 4x squared. That is 6x squared. Negative 2x plus 1x is minus 1x, or minus x, and then plus 5. Similar problem, number 10, but we have two variables involved. That's okay. We should know how to handle it. You see this negative 3q in front of the parentheses. We are going to distribute the whole thing. And negative 2r here, same thing with the sign. Okay, what are we getting here? So So the first bracket, we're gonna get q. Negative 3q times q is negative 3q squared. Negative 3q times negative 1 is plus 3q. We completed this one. Plus, please note there's 2 here. We're going to leave it alone. We're not ready for that yet. Here we have r. Minus 2r times 5 is minus 10r. Minus 2r times negative r is plus 2r squared. We have some like terms that we need to combine next. So in this bracket we have q, 1q plus 3q. We're going to put the q squared first. This is what we usually do. So negative 3q squared, and then 1q plus 3q is going to be plus 4q. Still have the brackets here. Plus 2. We're going to put the square term first. This is usually how we do it. And then we got 1r minus 10r, which is going to give us minus 9r. No more like terms. We are ready to distribute. You see these 2 here in front of these brackets. Distributing that, it's got a plus here, so we are fine. We don't need to worry about that too much. Here we're going to have negative 3q squared plus 4q. Here we're going to have plus 4r squared, and 2 times negative 9r will give us negative 18r. Now we're getting a combination of different variables and exponents. We're going to leave it like that. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at some special products. Okay, so special products here. What about this? So there's something called a process called FOIL, which is first, outer, inner, last, and basically it sounds very fancy, but it's a very simple thing to do. You take each thing here and multiply by each thing inside of the other parentheses. So multiply a by a, that's going to give us a squared. Multiply a by b, that's going to give us ab. Negative b times a is negative ba. Negative b times b is minus b squared. Look at these 2 terms. The variables are in different order, but when we multiply things, it doesn't matter what order you put them in. This can actually be rewritten as minus ab, and this way you can see it's the same thing. This is the same thing. And negative ab here and positive ab here are going to cancel, and we are simply going to be left with a squared minus b squared. How do you handle problems like this? Well, we need to remember, when you square something, if you have a squared, that means it's a times a. So if I want to square a plus b, I can rewrite that as a plus b times itself, times a plus b. And now we're going to FOIL it, just like we did in the previous problem. Okay, so what are we getting? We're getting a squared, a times b is plus ab, b times a is ba, or we already know it's the same as ab, and b times b is going to give us b squared. These 2 are going to be like terms. We're getting a squared plus 2ab, because 1ab plus 1ab is 2ab, plus b squared, right? So you should have an idea by now that in the next problem we are going to follow the same process. So we are going to rewrite that as a minus b times a minus b, correct? I hope you can see that. So we are going to write that a minus b times a minus b. Very similar, but you have to be careful here with the minuses when you are going to FOIL it. Alright, so what do we have here? We're going to get a times a, which is a squared. A times negative b is minus ab. Negative b times a is minus ba or minus ab. You can also write that. And negative b times negative b is going to give you plus b squared. So this is negative ab minus ab, 1 and negative 1 and negative 1. You're going to get a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. You might hear about this, not you might, you will hear about this in the past. These two expressions here are called perfect square trinomials. This one and this one. They are very helpful and they come up a lot. Alright, got a couple more. So now we're going to do cube. Okay, the challenge with the cube is it's multiplying the same thing by itself 3 times. So I can write that as a plus b times a plus b times a plus b. It is really difficult to do it this way, multiply it all. So what we do is we're going to multiply 2 of them together first, and then we're going to multiply it by the third one. You might recognize it from the previous page, and we already know what it is. You can look it up. This here is going to equal a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So what do we do now? We multiply, it's not technically FOIL, but it's the same idea. Every term here gets multiplied by every term in the other parentheses. So what do we have? We have a times a squared. That's going to give you a cubed. A times 2ab, that is going to give you plus 2a squared b. A times b squared is going to give you plus ab squared. B times a squared is going to give you ba squared, and I can also rewrite that as a squared b. B times 2ab is going to give us plus 2ab squared. B times b squared is going to give us plus b cubed. Let's take a look. A cubed, nothing else like that here. 2a squared b and a squared b and ab squared and 2ab squared, like terms. We're getting a cubed plus 3a squared b, 2 plus 1, plus 3ab squared, 1 plus 2, and plus b cubed. I think you have an idea what you do with the next problem, how to at least set it up. This is a minus b times a minus b times a minus b. We're going to multiply these together. Doesn't really matter which two, they're all the same. And from the previous page we already know what that product is. We know this is going to give us a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. And we are going to multiply all the same way. So a times a squared gives us a cubed. A times negative 2ab will give us negative 2a squared b. A times b squared is going to be plus ab squared. Negative b times a squared will give us negative a squared b. We put a first. Negative b times negative 2ab will be giving us plus 2ab squared. And finally negative b times b squared is going to give us minus b cubed. Alright. What do we have as far as like terms? We have these term here and these term here, and we have these term here along with that term here. So a cubed negative 2a squared b minus a squared b is going to give a minus 3a squared b. ab squared plus 2ab squared will give us plus 3ab squared. And then we're going to get negative b cubed. This is the answer for this problem. Okay. And this is how it's done.